What is going on, shrimp keepers? This is Rob with flipaquatics.com, and today we are coming at you with another video. First of all, I hope you all are well. It has been over 100 days since I posted a video. Now, a lot has happened. I mean, there's been a world pandemic that has happened. There's been protests. There's been so much going on. And I just want to say that I'm so happy to finally be here with you guys. We have been through so much in this past month, or these past 3 months, and I'm just excited to get into today's video. So today, I figured we would switch it up a little bit, and I want to show you all the shrimp we are breeding here at Flip Aquatics because we have a huge announcement for you at the end of the video. I'll kind of go over a plan for the new building with you, and kind of we've switched some things around, and we have some really cool plans. But let's get into what we are breeding here at Flip Aquatics as far as shrimp go, and thank you guys so much for being a part of this. I know it's been forever, and a huge shout out to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day this weekend. I just absolutely love you guys. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you for the messages. And I'm so excited to finally be back making a video for you guys. So let's get right into this. First thing is always first. You guys know the 480 gallon. I'm sure you've seen it before. If you haven't, this is a 480 gallon tank. It's 4 foot by 8 foot by 2 foot, and then it has a 75 gallon sump down here. And this is the first shrimp that we're breeding. You can see there's babies on the wall all over the place. The algae's thick. And this is just a nice blue bull tank. It's Taiwan bees. And I just fed them some Shrimp King Complete. And so they're gonna start coming out. And yeah, this tank is just doing phenomenal. I haven't done any maintenance on this in 100 days. And so you can see there's actually not too much algae. There's a little bit of algae right there. Some algae on the glass. I think this is pretty cool. The plants are kind of just growing up the side. And then there's some Wenties, some Crypt Wenties over here that are growing up the side too. You can kind of see from that angle. But tons and tons and tons of shrimp down here. We're starting to get some air bubbles, so I'm guessing that the sump's getting pretty low, so I got to top that off today. But just love this tank. So this is by far my favorite breeding project. You can see even there's a little baby. And you guys know I love blue shrimp. I love blue bolts. So this is always a very fun tank for me. I think we even got some bamboo shrimp in here on the log. There's a few mono shrimp going around in here. But this tank's getting ready to have a rescape. Probably at the end of the year sometime, or maybe we'll switch it over to a non-shrimp tank or add some more soil to it. I don't have a definite plan, but look, so I literally just fed these as soon as I started the video, and they're already coming out. And just love the blue bolts. And there's a couple hodgepodges in here that have like black in their head, and that looks like a blue steel right there. But all in all, just some beautiful, beautiful shrimp. And so this is one of our breeding tanks. This is more for recreation, and something just for me to enjoy and kind of show off on YouTube. But we'll go to the back where we actually have some little tanks. I think they're 10 gallons, some 20 gallons going, and show you the different shrimp that we're breeding back there. As I was walking to the back, I figured we'd stop and just look at this tank. It's pretty dirty, but this is a pretty cool tank. This is a tank we set up, I want to say like 4 to 6 months ago. I'll link the video somewhere in the video right now or down below. But this is an Assorted Neo tank, and so these are all the ones that we get babies out of the shrimp that are in our ponds. Which these are the ponds that we have, and we're getting ready to redo this room too, which is a whole nother story. But we get tons and tons of babies out of this one, and so what we do is we put them down into this tank. And then we sell them on our website as Assorted Neocaridina shrimp, and that way people can get like a good mix, and we just kind of do our own thing, do our own little breeding down here. And so I wouldn't say we're actively trying to breed these; they just naturally breed, and that's the cool thing about Neocaridinas is they're pretty hardy. You give them the right parameters, and they'll do the work for you. And I guess the same thing for Caridina. But let's go into the back, and I'll show you what's going on with it, the Caridina that we're breeding. So we are back in the Caridina room, and this is kind of our breeding setup. So it's not a ton of tanks. I think it's only, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So 24 10 gallons, and we have a couple other tanks too. But these guys are one of our breeding projects, and this is just some really nice galaxies. We kind of select out what we're looking for, and they've just been breeding like crazy. And so it's always cool to have a little extra project going on. And there's a couple blue steels that came from the galaxy, so you can see there's ones over there that we really need to just get out of there and call out. But just a beautiful shrimp, and always cool. Like, see if it'll focus. There's just little babies everywhere. There's a big mama, and yeah, just really cool stuff. So some nice galaxies, just something a little extra, and just having a lot of fun with these guys. Next tank, these are just some red King Kongs. We're not really necessarily breeding these. I think they just got put over here because we needed their tank for something, and so we moved them over here, and then they've been over here ever since. And so they're just kind of living their best life in there. Eventually they'll end up breeding. There's a dead one, so I got to get that guy out there. Poor guy. But these guys are some red calicos. I think people call them red dragons, red scorpions, things like that. But just really pretty shrimp. I don't think we've had any successful breeding in here yet. These guys are still young, but that's always a sad sign, so I'll have to get that guy out of there. And then next up, we got some cheetah shrimp, which there's a healthy molt back there, and here's a big buried female right up front. These are actually Amanda shrimp, so if you guys haven't met my wife before, my wife is Amanda, and she's into shrimp keeping just as much as me. We did see a baby in here not too long ago. I'm seeing if I can see him on the glass anywhere, and I can't. But there's a male right there. Looks like he might have muscle necrosis, so we might have to look at him closer. But there's some just beautiful females. And this is definitely a Caridina species, and they're called the cheetah shrimp because of all the little spots on the side. But yeah, just a really cool shrimp. And these are ones I got from my friend Nico. And Nico is a really big breeder in France. Just an awesome guy. And these are called dragon bloods. And so just a beautiful shrimp. And you can see there's babies all over the place. And so these guys are doing really good. And the really cool thing about these is you actually breed them completely different than Caridina shrimp. And so we have a special way of breeding these guys. It's pretty different. I'll have to do a whole video on that. But just a beautiful shrimp and really doing well for us. Like, look at this female right here. Just packed with eggs. Tons and tons of eggs. So that's always exciting. Up next we have the black calico shrimp. So similar to the dragon blood, but definitely not as pretty. Very cool shrimp though. And again, these guys are doing pretty good, but again, we haven't had them for a super long time, so they're really not breeding yet. And then these guys are called the orange-eyed blue devils, and I think we only have about 6 of these, so we're hoping they can sex up pretty quick and get some breeding going. But there's one, there's another one over here, and then there's a bunch on the back side of the filter. That's where they're always hiding. And then next up we got these are the red Nanassis, and they're a red Nanassi galaxy, so they should all have like galaxy spots on them. The little ones aren't as attractive than some of the adults, and a lot of the adults we've sold off by now, but we did keep some. Like there's one back there. They have the Nanassi marking on the back, and then usually have some galaxy marks on the head. And so they're breeding, but they're not quite exactly where we want them. And then we have the orange-eyed yellow devils, which are just basically, they look like yellow-eyed yellow King Kongs, or orange-eyed yellow King Kongs. And so we're hoping these guys start breeding. You can see some saddles forming, especially on the two in the middle. The one by the tube looks to be saddled, and then the one behind it looks to be hopefully a male, and then hopefully the one back there is a male, and we can get some breeding going out of these. Then we just have the micro crab tank. I don't think there's really any in here right now. We're not breeding these actively. We have had eggs, but we've never had successfully hatched babies. And let's see what we got down below. These guys are the zebra bobolti shrimp, one of my absolute favorites. Just a beautiful shrimp. And these guys have been breeding really well for us. And I would say most of the ones in here are babies that have bred. You can see here's one on the glass that's still pretty small. And so we actually have some breeding going on in the other building, which I'll show you in a bit. But just a beautiful shrimp. We used to have a ton in here. I think we moved them all. Like you can see, there's maybe one under the filter. We were testing out whether they do better in Neocaridina parameters or Caridina parameters, and Caridina parameters was the huge win. Next over, we got some royal blue tigers. And so these guys are the orange-eyed royal blues. And just one of my absolute favorite shrimp. I don't think we've had babies in here just yet, but we're working on it. There's not a ton in here, maybe only about 15. And so definitely a really cool shrimp. Next up, these are again Amanda shrimp. These are a red tiger shrimp, and she's been wanting these for so long. So on one of our import orders, Jeff convinced me to surprise her with them, and so I got some brownie points for that. But these guys are doing good. No breeding yet, but definitely looking good and doing good. Next up, we got some orange-eyed. These are actually called orange-eyed green devils. So we have the orange-eyed yellow devils, the orange-eyed blue devils, and then now the orange-eyed green devils. So really funky looking shrimp. There's some back there too, but they almost look like the orange-eyed blue devils, just a little bit more of a green hue. Sorry for the focus, but these guys are doing good. Next up, look at this girl. She is huge, absolutely huge. These are the orange-eyed red ghosts, and just a beautiful, beautiful shrimp, breeding like crazy, as you can see. So that's really cool. Next up, we just got some extreme red or extreme black King Kongs. Again, these were kind of the same situation as the red King Kongs. We never really had intentions to breed these guys. They just needed a temporary home, and then they kind of never left, so they're still in here. So I'm sure we'll get breeding soon. They've been in here for probably about 3 months now, and it's only a matter of time. And then last but not least, for the 10-gallon row are some red fancy tigers. These are ones that the adults at least, we've separated out. So like there's the big white one is one of our original adults we selected. All the other ones are babies. These two are some that we originally selected, and yeah, they're doing good. Like there's a ton in there now, and so we're actually gonna do something special with these guys, and I'll talk about that in a bit when we go over to the other building. But yeah, so we got some breeding going on. I got a couple more tanks over here. I think I got at least one more, no, 2 more. So I'm gonna show you guys those right now. Okay, so 2 of the last tanks that are over here. One of them is the Super Princess Bee tank. So as you can see, she is buried to no end. These guys are actually Amanda, so I gotta give her all the credit for it. I started breeding these guys like way back when, and they were doing really, really good for me. And then I had a huge bacterial infection come by, and then my pH swung, and I ended up losing everything. So there are a ton of babies in here. I can't see any on camera right now for some reason. Maybe you're picking some up, but they are just doing so well. And so Amanda's done a really good job with breeding these guys. And they're just a really, really pretty dwarf shrimp. These are actually smaller than most shrimp. I think they're a Caridina. And so Amanda just absolutely loves them. And then the tank right next to him, this is a tiger shrimp tank. And these guys we've been breeding. They breed like once a year, so they don't breed a ton. But most of the ones in here are babies, so you can see they're wild type tigers. So they even have a little bit of white in their stripes too. Here's a good one up here. You can see the white in there on the Subwasser tank. And then I actually have this rare moss that I found, and it's so thin it actually looks like algae. And so it's actually growing really cool right now, but that's been in there. That's probably, that little pile is probably like 2 or 3 years worth of growth. So it grows super, super slow, but just a really interesting moss and some really cool shrimp. So let's head on over to the new building, and I'll show you what's going on over
Just
there.
Before I head over to the other building, I want to give a huge shout out to both of our sponsors of the channel. Number one would be Fritz Aquatics. This is their Turbo Start. This bacteria we use in all of our Neocaridina tanks. It is just an amazing, amazing bacteria starter. And so this honestly is huge for us. And now the reason I want to give them a huge shout out, not only is because they have a great bacteria for starting tanks, but also because they have just stuck with us through this tough time. When I've been so busy, and like I said, I haven't made a video for over 100 days. They still support us every single month. So huge shout out to Fritz. And then a huge, huge shout out to our good friends over at Brightwell. So this is all Brightwell, and they make the best shrimp soil in the whole industry. And so huge shout out to them. This is what we use in all of our tanks, the Rio Escroa. We actually use the Fine. This one's mislabeled, so it actually is Fine. And the Rio Cafe is good stuff too, but I'll show you it in the other building. But these guys are just phenomenal. Thank you to both Brightwell and Fritz for sticking with us through this whole 100-day absence. So we are over in the new building. This was supposed to be the 125-gallon fish room. Plans have changed just a tad, but we'll get into that. So we're actually setting up all these 40 gallons are going onto this rack. This is going to hold 24 40-gallon longs, or I guess I'm used to saying 20-gallon longs. These are actually just going to be straight 40-gallon breeders, and we're going to have 12 on the bottom, 12 on the top, and that's going to come by. And then we're going to have another rack right here, kind of where this one's set up. But here's the cool thing is we're going to have one rack right here, one rack right there, and this rack along the wall. And this is going to house, I think I wrote it out, but I forget. We're going to have 2, 4, 6 in each section, and so that goes 1 section, 2 section, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So whatever 7 times 6 is. So we're going to have 42 tanks in each row. I added out that last part when I had to, completely figure out the math of 6 times 7. But we're going to have this rack running all the way along the wall, and we're going to have 2 more like it. So we're going to have a little bit over 120 tanks for breeding stuff. And so right now we just have some Caridina set up in here, our Neocaridina. These are all high-grade shrimp that our importer gave to us as a gift. And they're all like different Neocaridinas that we could use to breed. And these are a type of orange. I forget what he called them, but they're not just your standard oranges. And there was another tank of, this is miscellaneous shrimp down here. And then we have 2 more tanks of different types of oranges. And then we have like blues, blacks, greens, red rillies, orange rillies, all kinds of stuff. And so we're gonna not work with the Neocaridina, but we are gonna work with the Caridina. So we'll have over 120 tanks for breeding, which is gonna be super exciting. But I do want to show you what we're currently breeding now. So right now we are working with, these are all Neocaridina. There's 12 125 gallons. We just use this as overstock, and so we're really not breeding anything there. But all the stuff over here we actually are breeding. So we're not selling anything over here except for the 2 types of bamboo shrimp. So first of all, we are working with some yellow King Kongs. This is what the yellow King Kongs look like. A really easy to breed shrimp, so we're excited to be working with these guys. We've actually bred these guys for a long time, but now we have a bigger setup for them. And so really looking forward to some breeding taking off. And then down below, we're working with, I think these are called ghost bees, or white ghosts, I don't know. Our importer calls them all different things. I think the common name is ghost bees or white bees. And these are just a really, really great, easy to keep shrimp. They're basically just white crystal reds. And so they have the white stripes. Let me see if that guy's not going to turn. But they have white striping and then clear striping. And so just again, just a really, really pretty shrimp. And so these are not on our website. We're not selling those yet. And then we have a whole tank of royal blues. So you can see this is our main breeding colony that we're going to be working with. We'll try to block out the reflection, but just a gorgeous, gorgeous shrimp. And so I'm excited to be working with these guys again. Hopefully I can really get them going. And I think we started with 200 in here in April, and really looking forward to these guys taking off. Nothing in the tank above right now. This is our bamboo shrimp. These guys came in huge, and these ones we are selling. So not breeding these guys just yet, but just an absolute beautiful shrimp. I love these guys. They're the peaceful giants. Like, look at this one. They just filter feed and make sure they get all the crud out of the water. Down below, we just got some yellow neos down there. We were trying to breed them over here, but they're just one of those things that yellow neos are just not the easiest things to keep. And so we tried them in a high or low pH over here, and none of the babies have lived. And then we tried them in high pH over in the other building, and all the adults died, but we have a ton of babies. So it's just like, I don't know what's up with them. More bamboo shrimp down here with some manzanita wood in there just for something for them to hold on to. But yeah, sorry for all the reflection. And then we have some pure red line over here. These guys we are selling, but I want to start breeding them. We only have like, maybe 10 left. Nothing in the tank up above. Down below, these are some Santa Crystal Reds or Super Crystal Reds, and all they have is just a little bit of white on their head, and the rest of their body is red. So these guys we are breeding as well, and so another species we really want to work with, or color variation we really want to work with. And then the two end tanks, you guys saw these over in the other building. These are the Caridina Zebra Baboltes. Just such a beautiful shrimp. So we've been bringing these in for a while now, and they're I don't know why, but they've been a lot harder to import recently, and they don't seem to do as well. And so we actually brought these in just to breed them ourselves and then sell the babies. So I think we started with about 400 in this tank. Looks like 400 in this tank, and so we're really excited to get these guys breeding. And again, huge shout out to Brightwell. This is the Rio Cafe, just so you can get an idea of what it looks like in a tank. We have the spider wood in here. Got some nice mulm going on, or biofilm growing there. And so yeah, so I'm really excited to see this whole rack come together. Again, this is the Rio Cafe, and this is a good comparison. And then this is the Rio Oscuro. We just call it white, or brown and black. And so, so that's the easiest way to do it. But yeah, so that's what we got going on. I mean, just a ton of work. For all of you that have hung in this long, this rack is really coming in. I mean, it's really coming along. I just got to go through this weekend and paint the bottoms of the rack. Huge shout out to Tyler and Mike for getting it done. It does look good. And we got to put the wood up on the top because, as you can see, we didn't level it out, so it's bowed all over the place. And so once we put some wood up there, it will stabilize it. But yeah, so that's what we're working with. Super, super, super excited, and can't wait to see this thing completely finished. Well, all you shrimp keepers, thank you guys so much for hanging around and going on this journey with me. I know I haven't made very many videos, but we're finally getting to a place. We got a new employee. Huge shout out to Papa Shrimp Jerry. He came on board and moved all the way from Texas up here to join us here on the Flip Aquatics team. So he's been taking care of our livestock, which really frees me up and frees everyone else up. So now I'm back to a place where I think I can make videos more often, and so I'm gonna try to keep these more consistent for you guys. But thank you guys so much for joining this journey with me and being on this journey and sticking with me. Again, you guys make it a great Father's Day. Enjoy some time with your fathers out there, and if you don't have a father, it's okay. Just enjoy your weekend and time together. I mean, really, that's what it all comes down to. And you all hang in there. I know these are tough times we're in. For many people, for a lot of different reasons, but just know that above all else, love always wins. And so you guys make it a blessed weekend, and as always, God bless every single one of you. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you guys on the next one. See you guys.